getting stuff seen over on Instagram. If you are having problems, come over to YouTube. We're live on YouTube as well. I am here with my good friend John Wicks. Since the movie Ballerina came out this past weekend, right? Or is it this weekend? I thought that would be a perfect segue. How often you get that? How many times a day do you get that?
I would say anywhere between 40 and 140. It's pretty constant.
Yeah. So mine used to be Seinfeld. I would all the time hear, "Hello, Newman," all the time.
That makes sense. I was trying to think like who you look like, but yeah, there you go. Of course.
It is all the time. I had a guy that I worked with that every day I saw him. I saw him every morning walking into work for a year. Every morning he said that to me. Thanks.
It's really weird for me because like I'm 47 now, but when that movie came out, I don't know, maybe I was 35 or something. So I walked the earth 35 years. I had the normal, just an inconspicuous, dumb name, and then they just decide to do that movie, and all of a sudden, like I get asked, it's weird because it's clearly not true, but I get asked almost like, did I copy the movie, and I'm like, no, man, I was 35 years old when that movie came out. Jesus.
That's what happened. I copied the movie at the age, my
there
age.
You go.
Yeah.
I'm 10.
So, all right. So let's talk about a couple of things. I'm just checking to see. I don't know what to do here with the Wi-Fi. It doesn't look like the Wi-Fi is great. Let's talk about a couple of things. So, as I told you before, this is origin stories, and I like to start off with the pop culture question. Since I'm a Spider-Man hero or a fan, what is your origin story? How did you get into woodworking? And how did it build up to there? Hey, buddy. I got a hi on Instagram, so I said hi. So sorry. So give us your origin story. And again, remember this hour is all about you and how you got to where you are. So I want to talk about that. I want to hear about this whole story and where you are today, where you are now a hired employee of your son.
I know he's gonna fire me any day now. So I had a very, very inconspicuous start. My wife's grandpa, who I love dearly, he's passed on about 10 years ago or so, but we are really close actually. And he woodworked, but he was a carving woodworker. He was real meticulous, and I had no interest. I wasn't very handy. I didn't care. But when he passed on, he gave me his old scroll saw. And I thought, like, you don't know what you don't know. I have never touched a saw in my life, and I thought I had a table saw. I mean, I know that sounds ridiculous now that I'm saying it, but I'd go to Lowe's and I'd break down plywood into like manageable sheets, and I would or I don't know if we can cuss on here. I'm sorry, but I was cutting on the scroll saw 3/4 inch ply, trying to make these planter boxes. I wish I would have got that on film. I don't. I have a picture, but that's about it. But yeah, that was it. And so what happened was he passed on. We inherited this saw, and I was at my brother's, and he had these planter boxes. And I don't know. I just got. I looked down and I thought, man, I bet I could build that. That doesn't seem too hard. And went home. I had this table saw now, scroll saw. So I knew I could build anything, and went to town on it. And the rest was history. I got hooked, man.
How'd the first one turn out?
Miraculously, they turned out pretty good, man. I mean, I mess up everything, as you know, and that somehow worked out. I don't know, maybe because I didn't know what I didn't know, but.
Oh my God. Yeah. I look back at some of the stuff I made back in the day. Hey, Evan, and trolls would crap their pants watching that. They would. So it's funny. I look back at the stuff that I made when I was starting, and honestly, some of that stuff I look at and I go, I don't know how I did that. number one, with the tools that I had. Number two, with the small amount of information I had, like I'm looking to redo some of that stuff because I can't. I don't understand how I made it.
Yeah, it's really
Right?
weird. I think it might be like beginner's luck, or the methods I was doing then I would never do now. Knowing what I know now, which I'm about 20%, I would say. So it's just a fascinating thing. I think beginner's luck might be the best way I could put it.
So let's talk about this. So you started building. You're like, all right, I'm gonna have some fun. I got these tools. I'm gonna start building stuff. Did you start selling things? Like, let's go with a brief voyage of you, and then we could talk about the content creation and everything else, because I think content creation is a big part of your game as well.
So I never really sold anything. I do now every once in a while, but I've been making like some workbenches. They're kind of fun to make, and selling them on like Facebook Marketplace. But back then I wasn't selling anything. So I went from the planners to I made a dollhouse for my daughter. I think she was like probably 3 or 4 at the time. And then I made a little free library for my front yard. All
nice.
All on that dumb little scroll saw, by the way, which I had obviously no clue I was using the wrong saw. But and from there, I started going on YouTube. I didn't even know the woodworking community existed on YouTube or anywhere for that matter. So I went on there, and the first person I found was Brad Rodriguez. Fix this, build that. Okay. And I watched about 700, and I probably saw every video 100 times. I was just fascinated by this guy doing this stuff. And but from that, I thought, I'm going to try to make a cutting board, or just kind of the typical. I made like a birdhouse with my son. And just kind of went from there. But nothing to sell, no commissions or anything. And like I said, even to this day, I rarely do that, if ever. But it just kind of evolved from that. But probably a lot of people kind of went through that, maybe. But
yeah, well, I mean, I think for a lot of people, you get the itch, and you're like, I can build that, and then you build that, and you build something else. Brad is awesome. And you just sort of build from there. A lot of times what I hear people saying is they bought new stuff or bought new tools because they sold some of their stuff, and it sort of snowballed from there. But let's go then to the content creation, because PHK for the win. We're gonna get there, Evan. Just right. So let's talk about that, because I think your content creation is a lot different than it's different than the majority of the stuff. Your content creation is more focused on the humorous, on thinking things through, obviously on beer, but all just having a good time. Right? Did you start off doing like the more normal type of stuff?
Yeah, 100%. I was just filming my little projects and putting them up, just like my hero Brad Rodriguez was doing. And that's the only reason I even knew that was a possibility. And what happened was bonuses on IG. They started going, and the first couple months, man, it was like that's where it was. But I needed to post every day, and I don't do this for a living or anything, so I needed content, is what it was, what it boiled down to. So next thing you know, I'm lip syncing and doing shit I like look at now. I'm like, what am I doing? I mean, we're crying out loud. But that's kind of why it went down that road. A couple reasons: the reels and the fact that I don't woodwork every day. I have a job, and other stuff that I'm doing. But
that makes it difficult. I mean, first of all, there's obviously the difficulty of, hey, this is a side hustle. This is me just having fun. How do I get enough content for it? But I think yeah, there it is. Sean's comment.
What's up, Sean?
So you went down a very different road with this, and you decided to stick with it, obviously to have fun. I think the number of serious ones I've seen you do is about one every 3 weeks.
Yeah, it kind of went down a dark road there, and I almost wish that
Well,
bonus thing never happened though, because for me, I don't know how you feel, not to get on a tangent, but I feel like ever since that happened, I feel like engagement has been throttled severely. I was doing
oh yeah,
way better on when I would do like 2 or 3 posts a week. I was kind of every other day, every third day, and I was happy with that kind of pace. Um, and then bonuses came, and it was like every day I had to crank out something. At least that's how I felt at the time. And then I
yeah.
feel like they started throttling because they didn't want to pay out, maybe on a broad level.
I I didn't really get much for the bonuses until maybe the end of last year. So I never really dealt a whole lot with it. I posted more because I was having fun, and I was like, let me just share some of the stuff, and then I guess I got that rush. Yeah, engagement is whack, as Sean says. The rush of recognizing that. So I'm a teacher
Yeah.
full time, right? And I sometimes get better engagement and feel like I'm teaching more people here than I do with my own students at time. But that's high school kids. It's really difficult. Um, High school kids today are very different than they were 10 years ago. Um, well, I mean, there's a lot of different things that happen. But let me ask you this, coming back to you, because that's really what I want to talk about. With your ideas, so again, you're doing a lot of humor. You have a lot of different sort of ways to do stuff. Talk to me about your ideas for how you do things.
Well, I go on. I used to, anyways. I'll be on Instagram or TikTok even, and I would see like a funny idea and maybe try to put a little bit of a spin on it. My own thing. At first, I was hesitant to do that because I wanted to have original ideas for myself. But I had the epiphany.
Right.
When you go to an audio, there is 750 million people doing the same thing, and I needed the content, right or wrong. I was started to kind of just do my own versions of stuff that other people were doing their own versions of. Um,
Well, I think that's the big thing, right? It's your version, and I mean, we look at TikTok. I can scroll through TikTok and see. Well, today it was the king from Madagascar. You scroll through and there's 5 different people doing the voiceover and the facial expressions for that little whatever he is, King Julian, right?
yeah.
Is that his name? Right. So yeah, I mean it's pretty common that people do that. So I can see how you want to be different, but if everyone else is doing it,
And then the other thing I could say too is, and this is just me. I don't is I had the epiphany too that you're allowed to have your own lane. You're allowed to do whatever the fuck you want to do. I mean, this is just an app that got loaded on a phone in a pocket. So if you don't like it, then move along and no hard feelings.
well, I think that takes us to another very important conversation, and that is your trolls.
So that is definitely love-hate relationship. When I get one on the hook, man, I try to really bring it in. I want to go back and forth because that's a little secret pleasure of mine, But I don't. Me and you may have talked about it in Atlanta last year, but like I just do not understand.
But I think it's a
What's
good
that?
place here. I said a little bit, but I think it's a good place here to talk about it too.
Yeah, I just don't like. I have never once in my entire life decided to comment on something that I did not agree with, and that's the beauty of woodworking. Is there are a million ways to do something, as everyone knows that woodworks, and you might even do something unsafely, but if you feel comfortable, it's okay, Just I'm not saying to do crazy stuff, but like people coming in and telling you that I'm wearing I'm just notorious for wearing my slides in the shop, and people think I'm gonna. I mean, what? I mean, I feel comfortable with that. I'm okay with that, If a drill drops on my toe and breaks it, then that's my bad. But it hasn't happened yet, I mean, it's just calm down, guys. I'm just gonna do what I do, and then you just do what you do. And if you don't like what I do, then see you later. I mean, I don't care,
Well, I mean, the chances of you dropping something on your toes, it's going to be a piece of wood. Like you said, it's going to do more. It's going to cut it open. You're not working in a professional shop. Evan said he learned how to respond to trolls from you.
Oh man, I can't. Thank you, Evan. But I can't imagine Evan having any trolls, man. He's like the world's most popular guy. Everyone.
Everybody's got a troll on something. Like you said, I have never in my life I've looked at stuff. Actually, I feel like that's a lie. I have looked at videos before where I went, oh, and then I went, you know what? Not my business.
Exactly.
The hardest part for me is, if you see somebody doing something that is actually wrong. Hey, Ryan, like you look at it, you're like, I really want to tell them, but I don't want to be an asshole. I saw somebody doing breadboard ends one time, and they were gluing the boards onto the end. On a big table, they were gluing everything together. And I direct messaged them, and I was like, listen, I'm not trying to be that guy, but this is why that's bad, And I feel like it's hard because you don't want to be mansplaining, but you do want to help, right?
I know, and I've even, that happens to me all the time. That's why we're talking about it, obviously. But I've done that too, actually, where I have been watching something and go, and mainly it's because it's happened to me. It's went sideways on me or something, But I have never once done it, but it has occurred to me to do it, and I'm thinking I just don't want to. It's none of my business, Right. I'm just a guy. So I know, though, I get it, and you're very tactical, like. Your jigs and your process is very good, So I like it.
But there's a difference, like you said, between being a troll and genuinely trying to be helpful. And John says we all have that one follower that instantly thumbs down our videos right when they upload. Yeah, like and it's that blows my mind. The people who follow you. I'm like, if you don't like what I'm doing, why are you following me? Why are you here? You know what I'm going to do.
Now, by and large, the people that I do get the comments from are, they do not follow me. Somehow they have stumbled across my page and decided to say whatever they say,
So let's talk about it. So you got this troll comment, and we're going to take a couple of ways. Everybody has trolls. Let's talk about how you deal with it, because this is, after all, origin stories, but it's also lessons. So what lessons can you give someone about dealing with trolls to help your engagement, to help you? Sorry, not you, them.
So what I do, I realized that, again, I had an epiphany that going back and forth is not gonna work. I mean, it's the whole like, this, and this, and they just half respond to one of them, or you misspell a word, and now your whole argument is deemed wrong, as far as their retort to you.
Yeah.
So it's not worth it. And even in real life, I'm not an argumentative guy. I choose to get along. I don't want to fight with anybody over anything, So I did have that epiphany. So my go-to move was it's always self-deprecation, but it's always to agree with it, no matter how outlandish they come up with. I disagree. Like, this guy's a douchebag, and I just write totally. Like yes, he is. You should see some of his other videos. I just want to take that from them, because I know deep down they're hurting somehow, and they're trying to project that onto a random that they came across. I know that for a fact, So they're hurting, and I'm not gonna give them that leverage. It's like, you are correct, sir. I'm a dildo,
I mean, that's a great way to deal with it.
And then when they go back and forth, then I really like that, because now I have engagement, So we can laugh at me all day, we can self-deprecate me till the cows come home. That doesn't bother me one bit. Sticks and stones, And I'm just a hobbyist woodworker. I don't do this for a living. I have no ego about it. I make mistakes. If I catch a mistake, I'm showing it, you know. I'm figuring other people are probably doing it too. And especially I'm having a mind for the beginning woodworkers that don't know that, because feeds and YouTube videos are so curated, you know. So I want to show them, like, it's okay, man. We're all in here fucking up. It's good. It's all good. You can still have fun. I'm a shitty golfer, but I still golf. Like, you don't have to be good at your hobbies, you know. I mean, it's just
Absolutely. Like you said, you're not making money from it. You're out here having fun. I do like that's their 2 minutes of fame. That's what Randy said. It is. It's like those people hop in. It's yes. I mean, I think that's a great way to look at it, and it's so hard to do it that way. Like I think for me, it's one thing if you get the one comment, but when you get a couple people making it, it's really annoying, and then you're like, all right, so. I've told the story before. I had a video where a certain red company took one of my designs and made something very similar. And I made a comment about it and I posted it. And probably about a month and a half later, the video popped off on Facebook. And I think it's because somebody must have shared it somewhere and said, look at this douchebag. And all of a sudden, I just had, over the course of a day, I had 300 people literally going on there telling me I was an idiot. And you start to be like, Jesus Christ. I know I'm not an idiot, but I'm starting to question my own sanity. Until I realized that you could go onto Facebook and limit it to only followers who commented. And that took care of that. So.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know that. My Facebook is very, very tiny, so I haven't run into that problem over there. But there is most of the time it's just water off my back. But there has been a couple where I got laid into, man, and what it was about was my son, Sam, PHK. You know,
and I want to get into that.
They were like, you are exploiting this kid and you're making him do the child labor thing that you talked about. And I'm like, man, you couldn't be more wrong about any of that. You know, the only reason he's ever even done anything is because he has wanted to. I would never make him do shit, you know?
Right. So I got to say hi to my friend Tony right there. I had something. So taking a quick step back, Evan said, as Robin Williams said, be kind. Everyone's fighting some kind of battle. Like you said, I think that's an absolutely, 100%. Like a lot of those people are having some issues. Marco, I ask him in a minute. So, PHK, where's PHK come from? The initials.
Pocket Hole Kid.
Okay.
You know what? I was doing a video one time. It was like the Full House, like the thing, and I was every character. But then I went over to Sam, and he was literally doing a pocket hole, and he like did a little look, and I was like, the Pocket Hole Kid, man. And that's just where it came from. But
I love that. That's fantastic. So I mean, oh God, let's talk about this, because first of all, having kids in the wood shop is, if you have a wood shop at home, there's nothing better than having your kids come in there and learn from you.
Yeah.
Right. And I think everybody here is going to agree with that. So now you got people coming in talking about that crap. I do like how you've leaned into it more.
The which part?
I said I like how you've leaned into that idea of him being in charge more. Right. So you've started to do more videos with that, right?
Yeah.
So you're just having fun with it?
Yeah, but it's kind of as he's gotten older, he's become more and more into sports, which I love. I love sports too. But his time in the wood shop has suffered a little bit from that, so he'd rather play wiffle ball now than work with his dumb old dad, on something. So
what a jerk.
It's kind of went away. It's just natural. I mean, I like I said, I love sports too. So I don't have any care in the world what he does. I mean, just as long as he's doing something.
Right.
The wood shop aspect of it for me, like I was saying earlier, like I'm not a super handy person naturally. Like my natural inclination is not. I'm just not very handy. I'm better now because I do woodworking and stuff. I mean, how could you not be? But I'm still not there. But I attribute a lot of that to I never did shit like with my dad like that. You know, I love my dad. We have a great relationship, but he wasn't out changing a tire with me and stuff, you know. So I thought I really want to teach this to my daughter and my son. My daughter just has no interest, so that's okay. And he did. So I was really happy to do that and to share it with people. And people were liking this little kid out here working, and it was fun for everybody, I thought, you know. And then you get those trolls, and then baseball comes around, and basketball, and
stupid baseball. Well, you know, as Evan was saying, in his case, it's the other way around. Evan's the one working, teaching his dad. And
that's awesome.
You know, my kids, you know, we've talked about it. My kids are older. My daughter is 18. My son is 20. She's actually she wants to earn some money. So she's going to come in the shop this weekend. I got a bunch of stuff to do, and I'm going to have her work, and I'm going to pay her to come in and do stuff. So it's kind of nice because it does come back more that sort of full circle. When they were kids, when we would do shows, I would have them make a cutting board and sell it at the show. And I would I would charge them for the materials because I didn't want them to think that all the materials were just free. It's not like I'm charging them a whole lot of money, but they recognize that if they sold it for 65, they didn't get 65. I gave them 12.
Right, yeah.
I thought $12 was enough. Maybe no. Obviously a lot more than that. But it was great because they got the experience, and now that she's older, she's gonna come in this weekend.
Yeah, that's great. That's important to me too. You know, I love that, instilling that, and you're teaching them woodworking and about life and about money and about just everything. It's just perfect, you know. Then you get some asshole coming in telling you you're freaking exploiting your kid, you know, and you're like,
well, like I said, I guarantee you that everyone on Instagram, everybody here would say that you were doing a good job with it. So obviously that's a pain in the ass. I hope Instagram is still going because it looks like.
Yeah, it is. I think, yeah, it is.
All right.
But those were the two guys that, just to full circle it, those were the two people that really, the trolls that I was like, holy shit, man. What the hell? It was all about Sam. And I swear to God, this thing, I screenshotted it and I put it in my stories. This is probably a couple years ago, but it was that long. I mean, I can't, I mean, it never stopped, dude. I couldn't believe it. To the point where he wanted to have physical fight, you know, with me. Which is just absurd.
It's weird. Well, you know, again, people get all into this social media stuff to the place where they shouldn't, where it doesn't make sense. All right, so let's pivot a little bit. Let's talk about, hey, Brian, let's talk for a second. One of the reason I started doing these lives is actually because I was starting to talk about the wood shop. So there are a couple things I want to talk about here, and let's first talk about your shop. Is there anything special, anything that you've laid out that you really, when you were setting up the shop, you're like, this is something I really want to do to help my work, to help me have fun and really just work in the shop? Like, what do you think?
Yeah, so for me, when I was moving, I moved in this house like 6 years ago. I'm in year 6. And I was obsessive, man. I was online on a shop layout thing. I did it every day. I wanted this shop to just watching videos and seeing other people's shops and stuff. So the number one thing for me was, I don't know, can I pick this up or?
Yeah, it's your place.
The number one thing for me when I moved in was this, I can't tell if you can see it, but it's a miter saw station.
Yeah.
So it's very important. I wanted to have this, and I wanted wings on both sides. I don't know if you can see it or not.
Yeah. You got T-track in there.
Yes, and the T-track was very important to me. My tape's kind of eaten off here a little bit over time, but yeah, this thing is. I mean, I don't like to measure. I'm dumb, dude. I want to take out the stuff that I would get wrong, you know. So I wanted to be repeatable, but so that's by far my favorite thing. And then the other thing would be, I have flat surfaces everywhere. Like I have just tables.
Yeah.
And And I would highly encourage that. As you can see, shit just gets accumulated like it does in everybody's shop. But the more horizontal surfaces you have, the better, in my opinion.
Evan wants to know if the beer fridge is your favorite.
Oh, Evan, I thought you'd never ask, man. Yes. There it is in all its glory.
That's a great place for all the stickers. There's plenty in there. So, I couldn't do it. I would start drinking during the day, and that's while working, and that's never a good thing. So, all right. So, I see. I actually have. I actually just got wings for my table saw, dedicated wings as opposed to the wood layout. So I'm excited. I haven't even shown those off yet, but it's really cool. I think that's one of the main things. What's that?
No, I was with you at the at IWF.
Yeah.
And I saw you got those. That's cool, man. How do you like them?
I love them. Actually, I just got them in place. I just no kegger heater. IWF was interesting. It really worked out very well for me. That's a good story I want to talk about too. So I just put them in about 2 weeks ago, and I love having it. It really does, because one of the things I like about your setup is that it's a wide surface with the T-track inset, so you can easily do the stop blocks. The way mine was set up is that when I first did it, the bookshelf that is in front doesn't come out all the way. So I had to make something. I made a stand, and it's been many, many years since I've made it. So it started, anyway, this will be much nicer. This is just a really nice thing.
Well, we spent a lot of time at that booth, and it was, that's a nice product. The Easy Wings or something, right?
Yeah, that's what they're called. Red House Tools. Really nice stuff. I recommend it. Hey, Brian. So let's, what is one tool you would add that would drastically change how you work? Brian, you should be the host. I love that question.
Well, there's a couple that I've always wanted that I don't have. And one would be a jointer. I don't know that I need it because I don't do fine. My tolerances can be pretty high on my rustic wood workbenches. But the other thing I do really want is a drum sander.
Yeah. Both of which
those are game changers.
I did a video years ago asking that same question. And so here's my thought on it. All right. And I'm going to give you my thought and share this. I don't think that the drum sander is a building game changer. It's not going to change the way you build things, but it's a production game changer. It's going to help you. Evan says total game changer. I have to ban Evan from these. It's a production game changer because it allows you to produce and do things a lot faster. But for me, the domino is a game changer. The Festool domino.
Yeah. Because
that changes the way that you can make things, right? The joinery methods, the different types of doing things, even the way I did breadboard ends, I was able to change it and use the domino. So that's my 2 cents. I love having a drum sander 100%. I don't think it's a game changer unless you're doing big production runs.
Yeah, exactly. Like if I was going to make a bunch of cutting boards or something, but yeah, you know what? You're right, dude. It's the domino. That would be a very big one for me because I wouldn't have to do my pocket holes really anymore. I could just do that, So
I mean that's yeah. Oh God, if there's one tool I would recommend everyone get, it would be that. It's just so expensive.
I know, that's the thing, man. My buddy has one actually. He doesn't do woodworking at all, hardly, but he lives down the road, and I just haven't really messed with it yet. But I need to because I do need that thing, or I want that thing. I don't need it, but
well, I mean, the biscuits, pocket holes. I don't know. So, that's a great question, though. I do like that. What is? And let's go on to another question I was going to ask. What is something that you, as a builder, as a guy working in the shop, what is one thing that you are really proud of?
Oh wow, man! Like that I've built.
Yeah.
Well, I've built my whole shop from the ground up, basically. But I am proud of that. I'm out here sometimes just sitting here doing nothing. But as far as like things I build,
You know what? Listen, you can be proud of the shop. I think that's a huge thing. I mean, you get to sit in there, you get to look at you built the shelves, you built all this stuff, right? You set it up. I think that's huge. That's something to be proud of.
It's because in real life, I'm very messy. I'm I don't know. I always say I have ADHD. I don't know if that's true or not, but I fit every marker basically. But I leave stuff. I procrastinate. Stuff doesn't go back. It drives my wife crazy. If she's watching, I'm sorry, honey. I love you, boo. But in the shop, everything's got a home, and my wife will come in here and kind of grab something and put it not back, and I'm like, that goes here. So this is like my space that I love, So yeah, I'll stick with that then. That's my most proud thing. As far as builds, I don't know if I'm proud of like a certain cutting board or something. I do like these little workbenches, but I don't know if I'm really proud of them necessarily.
Well, what's something you'd like to build in the future?
I would like to. I wanted to build the cabinets in our dining room. I wanted to just like take it on, like a monstrosity of it,
Yeah.
And I do want to do that. I still want to do that. I want to build a bar in our living room, or it's like our off family room, I guess.
Yeah.
That's the next thing, and that's what I want to build this summer. Will it happen? I don't know, but it was supposed to happen last summer, so we'll see.
Well, let's talk about what's it going to look like. What do you want to do for it?
We have this little alcove, I guess you'd call it, and I just want to build it up like with a bar, but like with cabinet doors and drawers that would pull out from one or two locations, and build it up in the back, and just I want to be kind of fancy schmancy with it, because I don't build fancy schmancy shit because I don't have a need to do it, but I'd like to maybe challenge myself with that.
Well, I like that. I am going to hold you to it. I want you to know that I'm going to check in on you.
Yes, do it, because like if I have a deadline is in 3 months, then I will start the day before that deadline. I don't have that gene that people have where they just kind of chunk off and then pretty soon they're just done. If it's due next week, I'm starting next week at midnight, the night before,
So I'm not quite that bad. Did I tell you about the book that I'm writing?
That you're writing?
So I got last February, I got approached to do a book on routers, tips and tricks for a publishing company, a small one of the craft publishing companies. And I said, yeah, that's fine. And then they said, okay, well, why don't we do this? You'll have this stuff done for us at this point. So I wrote up some stuff. I did some, samples, and this is great. We definitely want to go with you. Here's the contract. The first part will be due at this date. I'm like, yeah, that's no problem. Well, I never got around to it. I never had time for it. And I never heard from the other person. And hey, buddy. And in December, they contacted me and they said, I'm so sorry that person left the company. We sort of fell by the wayside. Do you still want to do this? I said, yeah. I definitely want to do it. Can you do it by this date? Sure. So then that date came and I said, I don't have anything. They said, all right, well, why don't we make it due June 2nd? Okay. I can do that. It'll be the end of the school year. I'll be able to do that. Well, they sent me a message at the end of May and said, how's everything going? It's due 6/2. And I said, 6/2? I thought it was 7. I thought I had till July. So for the past 2.5 weeks, I have been busting my butt. And I'm back to like, this is what I've been doing all the time, is just trying to write it and make plans and do things. I follow, unfortunately, in your image. I do the same thing.
it's like the bane of my existence, dude. I just cannot, and I know that it's coming, and I just can't get through it. And my wife is we're exact opposite. She's very like, if it's due in 3 months, she finishes it tomorrow, so she doesn't have to worry about it. I want to live in this stress-filled life all the way up until the last hour, and then just come sliding in, and it's just.
I don't know why I have heartburn all the time. Oh God. Right.
Yeah.
Well,
that's pretty cool, though, Logan. I didn't know that about you, man.
I'm very excited about that. I'm nervous. Brian said he has hit a standstill. He hasn't worked. I haven't worked into my shop in months. I don't know, man. What's the longest you've gone outside the shop, not going in and doing anything?
Probably. I mean, honestly, maybe like a month or two.
Oh wow.
There's definitely some ebbs, man. And
so what do you do whenever you get to this point where you feel like I'm stuck? I can't work in there. I can't do anything. What do you do? I mean, it's a little bit easier for you, I'm going to say, because you can take that time off.
Yeah.
But how do you get yourself back into it?
So how I do it, because I've had this conversation with Joni and stuff. I'm just in not a funk, but I just don't even know where to start building something. But I will say a trick for me is to come into the shop and just clean up the shop, man. And then that just kind of gets your wheels moving around the shop, and you're just kind of getting stuff in order. And pretty soon, every time, at least for me, and again, I'm not a neat freak or a cleanly guy at all, but it just kind of gets my juices flowing, As creepy as that sounds, and pretty soon I'm building something, So that's where I would say baby steps. And then I also would say don't be hard on yourself, man. If you're in an ebb, it's okay, I mean, especially if you're just a hobbyist guy, you don't have to feel compelled that you have to be out there. I feel that way sometimes, so I understand. But it's like, just give yourself some grace. It's cool, no big deal.
Well, I think we all got into this because it was fun, and whenever it gets to the point that it's not fun is when it's difficult, right? It's how do I make what I used to enjoy and really love? How do I get back into enjoying that aspect? And I think, first of all, I'm going to agree with you, and I'm going to add on. The other part for me is, when you're getting that shop cleaned up and you get that corner cleared away in this corner, and then you go, you know what? I need to make something to fit right here.
Yeah.
Right? I need something to organize these things. And that might be that little project that you go, okay, I'm going to build this. And then you build that, and then, next thing, and you start to get sort of familiar with the tools and comfortable again.
Yeah, those little organization projects, you nailed it, man. They're fun, and they just kind of get you going again. And I've done that so many times. And next thing you know, you're building a freaking whatever you're into now, and it's great. I love that, man. That's a good point.
That's a great way to do it. So, and speaking of Joni, you seem to have like a really nice community of people. There's about 4 of you guys that get together out there.
Yeah, it's fun, man. Joni lives down the road like 20 minutes or so. And then Lindsay Woodbrain, you probably know Lindsay. She lives a little further, but up north. And then Handy Dandy Brandy, she lives in Long Beach. She's like 20 minutes away. It's the complete other side of town. But what's nice about her is that she has a plywood store right next to her shop. And it's really cheap, primo plywood. So I can just cut it up there. But no, I do like the little girl gang. I'm the only dude, hanging out and with these people. But and Annika too, from Annika DIY. But
right.
And they're all great, man. I love all those girls, and we hang out. It's not all the time. We all got our busy lives and stuff. Yeah. But when we do, it's great. Especially if they come over and we can like just make stupid ass reels or whatever.
Right, and that's usually what you guys are. They're the fun ones. Well, I had Handy Dandy Brandy on here back in like September, October, something way back. So, but speaking of Lindsay, and coming to a question that Mark Adams asked earlier, I don't know if he's still on here. Have you ever heard of Maker Camp?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, and because Lindsay comes, that's where I know Lindsay from. I've seen her there. We interacted while she was running around crazy. Have you thought about coming to that?
Absolutely. Yeah. Every year I'm like, and Lindsay's tried to talk me into it before, and she did once. I was going, but at the end of the day, I think, is it like in October or something? Or,
Yeah.
It's a bad time for me because I coach my kids' sports and stuff, and also I heard that it's a little cumbersome to get to from out here from Lindsay.
Yeah, I couldn't talk about that. I drive there. It takes me like 3.5 hours. I drive, park the car.
Yeah.
I mean,
It looks fun, dude. I would love to go. If I was close or East Coast even, I'd be there in a heartbeat. But I mean, it's just so long and hard to get to for me, man.
It is amazing. It's a great time. We always wind up talking about it. Somebody always asks, because half the people I know, we met in person at Maker Camp and had a blast.
Yeah.
So when you are, let's think about this. I don't have anything to think about. I was trying to come up with something. Like I'm thinking about all the stuff we've talked about. There's so many good things that we've done. Let's talk about this. What is something that you do differently now than what you've done in the past?
As far as like a technique, or
yeah. And thank you for correcting me. A technique. What is something that has improved and that you've changed on that you feel you do much better now than you did before? And how did you get there?
I would say my number one tip I would give anybody is if you do not have to measure something, then don't do it, man, because it's just too much human error. And how many times have I needed to do 31 and a fourth and I did an eighth, it's just, so as much as humanly possible, I try to butt things up against each other.
Yep.
and make my cuts like that, strike a line. I don't want to do, for instance, like I did in the beginning, measure, line, miter. I mean, I got my stop block now, but measure, line, miter, measure, line. I mean, it's like too much especially for a guy like me, man. I mean, I gotta dummy proof it. So that would be, I heard someone say that one time. I stole that from somebody. I can't remember who, but they said, try to not use your tape measure at all if you can. You obviously have to,
right?
A lot of the times, but that's something I'm living that life, man, big time.
Well, I mean, you're measuring, like you said, 31 and 3/16 plus inches.
Yes,
okay? You're like just a little bit more. And so I missed some comments here. Evan was talking about when he's in a funk, he builds a box. He said, a box is what I always wanted to make as a kid. Going back to why you got into it is a great way to get back in. I love that.
Love
it. And Mark said that Lindsay can put you in her check-on baggage.
Oh, God.
And Ryan
might be a little weight limit there for me.
Oh, come on. It's a it's a roller.
I genuinely would love to do that. And I just to go a little bit further is like those meetups and different places. Those are, I really made a concerted effort to do that the last couple years, and we met, and that was awesome in Atlanta. I love it, dude. I would tell anybody who can to go for those things because they are so fun and everyone's so like-minded and just like, I shouldn't say we're all like-minded, but we have obviously the woodworking and maker area of our lives. Like we all like, and the community is just freaking, I mean, there's just no words for it, dude, how awesome everybody is. So
are you going to, do you go to AWFS since that's out near you?
So I did want to go this year, but we're going on a cruise this summer, and it's right smack. I think it's the day before we leave or something. So I can't do it. Are you going?
So I am going. I'm a judge for a student competition for woodworking stuff, and then I'm emceeing the award ceremony, and then I'm also doing a field trip where so they're doing different focused groups where they're taking them away to they're taking people to specific booths. So I'm doing the education booth and I'm helping people meet different companies. real quick before I always try and do it right around this time. So everyone on Instagram, everybody who's here next week, Alma from Pink Soul Studios is going to be on with me, and we're going to talk about stuff. So just so you guys are aware what's going to happen next week, I'm really looking forward to talking to her too because she's awesome. So, it's getting warm. My back is sticking to my shirt.
I know it's hot in here too, man.
Where 5 years from now, what do you see for yourself?
Honestly, I think it's just going to be much of the same. I would definitely love to. I don't know about full time, but I would like to start selling more stuff. Maybe even at markets and stuff. I think it would be fun. I'm loving these little workbenches, but they're like far and few between. It's like feast or famine. So, but I would make those all week long. I like it. They're fun. But in 5 years, if I'm just trying to be honest with myself, it's probably much of the same thing. I like this little side. I don't even want to call it a side hustle because it's just literally a hobby and just having fun out here, learning every day, messing up.
It's a woodworking hobby with a Instagram problem.
Yes, exactly, dude. That's well put, man. I hate Instagram. It's so awful.
It's a love-hate thing, man. It really is. I mean, I would not have some of the opportunities that I do without it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but you feel the pressure, you feel the stress. So side quest here. Have you thought about with those workbenches, since you enjoy making them and they sort of sell locally, have you thought about trying to do well, I'll ask him that in a second, Mark. Have you thought about doing them as like a flat pack type thing where someone orders one and you can ship it to them to put together?
I have not considered that. I'm looking at it right now. I have two right here. I'm just thinking I don't know how it would work that way. Especially because it's just like 2x4s and stuff. I don't know if they would want to spend that kind of money, but
you never know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to that. That'd be awesome.
I mean, that's a nice thing. People will buy anything, and one of the things I found with my jigs, one of the troll comments that I often get is what they'll say, if they can't buy, like my flattening jig, if you can't make it, you shouldn't be using it. Well, it's a matter of time. I don't necessarily, if I have a limited amount of time to do something, I'm going to focus on doing the something, not building it. Right.
It's such a ridiculous comment. Like, it's like, what are you talking about, man? Like,
well, I always point out that people are at different stages too. I will fully say this. I love it when you say something like that to someone and the response back is, I hadn't thought about it that way. That's a good point.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, one for me. Thank you. Mark said, what is the most impractical thing you have made for fun?
You know what it was, man? I don't know where it is right now. I think it was a shit. I guess I lost. I don't know where it is, man. But it was a koozie out of wood.
Okay.
And it was so impractical. It didn't really work. I mean, it did work, but it had no business. So I put it up on Instagram, and man, talk about the trolls coming on that one. Jeez.
Was it turned?
No. So I don't have a lathe. I cut through. I did a hole saw through like 3 pieces of cedar. I wanted soft wood, and then I just glued them together. So I got the ring out of the middle, and then I just made the ring, and it was very impractical. It was the wrong way to do it.
It was fun,
but it was fun, and it was just for beer, But.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to have to answer that. The most impractical thing I made for fun, just to make myself laugh, was my cannon. My cannon.
Dude, I saw that the other day, Logan. I was laughing, man. Jeez, that was hilarious.
I I got to tell you, I thought about that, and I thought about it for a couple weeks. I was like, that's going to be absolutely hilarious. And you know what's funny is on Facebook that went to like 1.5, 1.6 million views,
Yeah.
and it got, I think, 40,000 on Instagram. I still think it's hilarious. I was
Oh,
like,
it was classic. You were about to cut in, and I can't remember at what point, and I go, uh-oh. I think I know where this is going, man. And there it was. But it was beautiful. That was awesome.
oh, it was just. and then I did the other one, and the Christmas tree one. Did you see that one?
Yeah, I knew you had two. I couldn't remember what the other one was, though.
So the other one is the Christmas tree that.
Oh yeah, the butt plug Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I saw that one too. I thought you were gonna start doing like a series on those, man.
Well, so I went and I did a voiceover on something afterwards on another thing, and somebody commented like, "What? No sexual innuendos?" Like I don't understand what's happening here. So
yeah, you have a very you and Joni. I always compliment Joni also on this, but you guys have a very. I like your voiceovers, man, because it comes across very earnest, very matter of fact, and even when you were doing those funny ones, like it was just like, hey, and there you have it, Christmas tree, and it's clearly a butt plug, but it was just like,
you have to do it. You have to do it in that way, because if you're giggling the whole way through, people are like, you're ridiculous. You got to do it. So I appreciate that. I every now and then I don't know. I'm happy with some voiceovers, and then I hear myself and I'm like, oh, I sound like an idiot. So I appreciate that.
No, I don't think so. And I think your jigs, I've told you that before, but are just so crazy and impressive, dude. And like, you're just, you're a good follow. If anyone here would be following you already, but it's just, you have your own lane, I feel too, man. It's pretty cool.
I appreciate that. You know what? In a year, you'll be able to buy a book, and I'll sign it for you.
I'll buy it, man.
And there will be some tips and tricks and stuff in there. So as I'm building stuff for it, I've come up with a couple ideas that I was like, I haven't seen anybody do this. I don't know why, but this is a perfect way to do it. And I was thinking today how I can't tell you what it is, but I was really excited about it. So, all right.
You're a designer, dude. You're in when I look at you, I think of you as like a designer that your medium is woodworking and eyeglasses, but like, that's how I see you.
I wish I had the time to focus more. It's so hard. I get pulled so many different directions, but it's not about me. We're not here to talk about me.
Oh, well, damn it. No. Well,
all right. But I am going to go inside and have some bourbon and sit down with my wife for a little bit. But first, I appreciate you with the issues we had earlier. I appreciate you coming on and being patient. I really appreciate you coming on and just talking with me. So let you close out. If there's anything, you've said a couple of things. If there's any one thing that you could tell people listening right now, what's the last bit of advice, last big thing you would tell them about anything?
I would just go back to what I said about like, just do whatever makes you happy on Instagram. There's no rules. You don't have to keep up with the Joneses. You don't have to do anything. And don't let anybody tell you any different. It's just, like I said, this is just an app that we downloaded from the App Store on our phone, man. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. So
I love that.
Keep on keeping on. Give yourself some grace, and that's it, man. Just have fun, I guess.
I think giving yourself the grace is the big thing. Too often, I do love this, and I want to harp on it for a second. I'm going to beat a dead horse. I feel like too often, and because I get stuck in this, I look at people building stuff, and I'm like, man, I wish I could build that, or I wish I had time to try and make that. I wish I could, and it's so easy to fall into that trap of, if only, I wish I was better, I wish there was more I could do. And I think, maybe one more question. I think I think it's so important to try and remember that, because that's the problem with social media. It's so easy to fall into the grass is greener on the other side.
Yep. And like I said, it's so curated. So a lot of people, and that's
Yeah.
okay. That's the lane they're in. But
Yeah.
they don't want to show the mistakes or the bad side, you know. And again, that's okay. But when you're a beginner, especially, you're watching these people going, man, they're 100% correct always. And it's just, you know, when I get a comment and a guy's like, I've been a master carpenter for 50 years, I know the most indignant, stupid fucking comment is coming. I mean, it's 100% of the time, you know.
Yes. We had one other question. What's the worst tool purchase you've ever made?
I would say there's, you know what, I don't know that it's one particular thing, although there are a few things that come to my mind. But when I first started out, I thought I needed all this stuff. So I ordered an Incra box joint jig that I've used like twice, you know.
I have the same one. It's sitting in my,
yeah. Works great. It was fine. You know, I made a couple boxes out of it, and then it's just collecting dust wherever it is.
Yeah.
So I would say that was I mean, it's a good tool, but it was probably a bad purchase for me because I absolutely didn't need it, and it's like $200 or something. You know?
Yeah.
This was like 6-7 years ago I bought this thing, but I mean, when you first start out, I was trying to keep up with all these online people, and I would be influenced by these people, and I thought I needed all this shit, and I clearly didn't, you know. So I would just slowly roll and like try to buy stuff as it comes, you know. So I don't know if that's the worst tool purchase, but stuff like that is where I regret.
It really does. Sorry, I was reading this other comment. I think that's the best thing to say, because oh my gosh, it's John Wicks. Because that is true. He said hi to John Wicks. He loves your name. It is true, because trying to keep up with people and looking at the next tool purchase that you need to make. My worst tool purchase, though, was much smaller, much easier. I bought this little Raycon sander, this little handheld sander, and I actually did a video. It's the only video I've ever done where I said, this is the worst tool in the world. Do not buy this. And it sucked so bad. So if you ever see the little Raycon little disc sander, don't buy it. Don't ever buy it.
Noted.
All right. I want to thank you again for coming on. I want to thank everyone. Dumb stuff from Trevor. Thank you. We do try to get good snide comebacks to people. And everyone else, thank you guys. Have a wonderful night. You and I are going to stay on for a minute. This will be live on YouTube if you guys ever want to, if you missed the first part and want to catch up. Have a good night.